Hey guys, Scott here. Today I want to go over what I've been using on Vecna 2 or Henry or the first or the Henry, the Creel, whatever you want to call him, and what I've been using to pretty great effect. I lost one game since I started playing him. I lost one other one, but I was eating mac and cheese, so I'm not counting that one. But I have been finding really great success with a particular style of build, and it took me a minute to kind of realize what's going to work on him. So without further ado, I want to go over and share what I found to be really good. So first, let's focus on what makes the Henry very, very strong. His chase potential is absolutely unreal. He is extremely, extremely strong at chasing, one of the best chasers in the entire game. His anti-loop is like among the absolute best. So you really want to capitalize on your downs, not really being based on gen regression and holding specific areas and things like that. You want it to be from the fact you're just downing people left and right really, really quickly. So because of that, there are a lot of builds like, like pop, eruption, things that will, involve you holding an area, generally running around, kicking gens and controlling them. Even his own perk that allows you to explode a generator with your mind after you hook somebody. I find these to be not actually super effective on the killer. And the reason is his map control is just simply not very good. He is very, very heavily countered by pre-running, holding W, things like that. He can only use his traverser ability basically like once a minute. So it's the cooldown's a bit better than that, but it feels like it's basically once a minute. So he really does not benefit very much from trying to maintain an area. So what you should be doing is focusing on perks that'll work either passively or that'll aid you in even more rapidly downing people. For a lot of people, it's a no-brainer to involve some type of aura reading. But in terms of generator regression and slowdown, less involving things like pop, eruption, even pain resonance and stuff like that, I would say you want more things that are just automated, that just happen by default. So you kind of want to move more toward things like Dead Man's Switch or Deadlock or Ruin and Undying, which I find to be really, really nice for him because you can actually defend your totems from a distance as well. I think Ruin Undying is a very, very strong combo, or Ruin Thrill. Basically just Ruin as your slowdown honestly seems to be enough. That's kind of really all he needs, but it really works because it's going to be happening passively and you don't want to just move your slow 110 movement speed ass around kicking gens and holding area. So in terms of your actual regression or generator perks, stick with automated perks. I recommend Ruin Undying really heavily, or Thrill the Hunt and Ruin, or Deadlock, DMS. Anything that's going to work automatically without you having to manually kick gens and stuff. That's definitely the best idea. From then, though, you're going to want information from overreading and then map information. So Vecna's own Hex perk is actually insanely useful for knowing where to go. Now, it is tied to a Hex, which means you kind of want to run Undying with it or Thrill the Hunt with it. So before long, you realize you're kind of just making a full totem build. I think actually Hens has an incredibly long streak. I don't think he's lost one yet. Doing, I believe it's mostly a totem build. So totems are really good on him because you can defend them from a distance, and also they're, like I said, they're automated. The automation is what makes them so useful because you want to spend all your time just killing people with this killer, not controlling an area. So in terms of information perks, I don't think you need too much. A lot of people have been recommending things like I'm all ears. So when people vault, you see their aura to try to hit them through a wall. That's very, very nice. Even things like Predator, when you lose chase, you see their aura. It's great. I've been using Lethal Pursuer and no other aura reading perk, but I've been using an add-on that gives me aura reading, which I'll get into in a second. But even Lethal Pursuer, because you want to get your chases going immediately with this killer, just rapid fire, instantly start. Sometimes you get an awkward middle map spawn. You don't know where people are exactly. And especially as a 110 killer, it feels a lot worse to not start a chase immediately. So I think Lethal has been really good. And again, the synergy with the add-on later. But again, think automation, passive effects. Now that's going to make us go towards his add-ons. Now, what do you want to equip for add-ons? So it's kind of interesting that he has all these add-ons, and really none of these add-ons are bad. All of them have some type of interesting effect in some way, and they're worth messing around with. But there are undoubtedly 3 add-ons for this killer that are without a doubt the best, so far and above everything else. It feels like you almost need 3 add-on slots for it to feel great. So let's go with what I think is the most important add-on that he could possibly run. It's Rabbit Remains. This makes it so when you're popping up out of the ground, you exhaust everybody in that AoE. You don't have to actually hit them with the ability. If they're just in the goop when you even start popping out of the ground, they become exhausted. This is damn near required because Sprint Burst is a hard counter to the Undergate. If you do not have them exhausted, they will just simply walk as you are on the upside down. They'll just walk next to you, and the second you pop up, they're going to sprint burst away, and now they're just gone. They've basically just wasted your power. So it's very, very hard to counter a sprint burst unless they're like in a corner and you're forcing them into a corner. Very hard to counter that. But Rabbit Remains makes it so it's completely irrelevant. It is very satisfying trying to, or watching a survivor hold their sprint burst. You pop up, they're exhausted, then they end up getting hit because they weren't expecting that. I feel like Rabbit Remains against good players that know how to counter this killer are damn near required, because exhaustion perks are the absolute bane of Vecna 2. So Rabbit Remains is a pretty much required add-on if you're going to go against people that know what they're doing and know how to counter the killer and are probably likely equipped to deal with that. So Rabbit Remains, I think, is the most important add-on he has. Next is the Bloody Roller Skates. This makes it so when you do pop up out of the upside down, you get a very significant 20% haste. It's only for 2 seconds, but usually you get like 5% haste for 5 seconds or something. This is basically a giant burst of haste for 2 seconds. I've actually a couple of times used the haste for lunge to actually like lunge and hit somebody, because, you know, if the more haste you have, the further your lunge goes. So, you know, there are things like that you can do, but really this is just for catching up with people if you're not able to hit them with the upside down actual undergate attack, because really attentive players, it is kind of not a guaranteed hit. Like, it's pretty easy for them to bait you into popping up by faking stopping and then continuing to run. And, you know, you can also predict that too. It's kind of like, you know, a 50-50 from both of you guys. So you're going to lose a lot of those no matter what. Even if you're an incredibly good, you know, player of this killer, you're still going to lose those 50-50s, like, you know, sometimes. So having Bloody Roller Skate makes it so if you do lose that and you're not able to actually get the hit, you don't lose nearly as much distance as before, and you're almost in range to immediately start trying another attack. So Bloody Roller Skate feels really nice, and it feels like super ass when you don't actually have it to equip. Next, probably my favorite add-on is the Gutted Super Comm. This makes it so whenever you actually hit somebody with your power, if you're not in World Breaker mode, which is when the sky is all red and you actually damage people with your power, it makes it so you see their aura for 1.5 seconds. Now, that's not a very long time, but we circle back. Lethal Pursuer makes that last 3.5 seconds. Suddenly, that's a really long amount of time to see them through walls, so much so that I've actually had a chain of events where Lethal Pursuer was just expiring. I hit a guy through the wall with the last second of Lethal Pursuer. Then this triggers. I see their aura for 3.5 seconds. They run away. I see them through the wall. I hit him again, which triggers another 3.5 seconds. So I have seen the survivor's aura for like 15 seconds straight, and now I'm in World Breaker within 20 seconds of the match starting. Granted, you need a spawn where you're not across the entire map from them, so this is not something you can always do. I'm just saying it allows you to rapidly chain your build up to World Breaker mode very, very quickly. Now, once you're in it, you can't see their aura anymore, but at that point, you know, you've gotten to World Breaker so quickly, and that's why this add-on is so good. It enables you to get into World Breaker so much more quickly, because if you can see them and they can't see you, they're not exactly sure when to dodge. Like, they can hear the sound, but then you can just hold it and expect to dodge and wait to see where they dodge and then aim for it. So again, I'm not saying it's free to aim for it, because mechanically it's actually pretty difficult to aim with this killer, but this makes it so much easier to actually get into World Breaker mode. And yeah, if you chain it together with a really good start with Lethal Pursuer, you can have World Breaker up in the first 20 seconds of the match, and that can feel really, really nice. So those are like his 3 required add-ons. Now, I would say if you're not running Aura Reading and you're not running Lethal Pursuer, then I would say Gutted Super Comm is not the play. I would say Rabbit Remains and Bloody Roller Skate, or Rabbit Remains and Gutted Super Comm, are like the 2 builds that you actually would want to do if you're trying to bring the strongest shit you can on this killer. He's got a couple of other really nice ones. Actually, one of them is gray, or brown. Pretty cool. The Shattered Wrist Rocket makes it so whenever you pop up out of the ground, all pallets and breakable walls are instantly shattered. And I've had this be really useful on maps like Badham Preschool, which have breakable walls that must be kicked in order for any chase to continue, so you can actually start the chase with their advantage gone. So depending on the map, Shattered Wrist Rocket can be really good. There's a lot of other really nice information. Smashed Cassette Deck makes it so your World Breaker starts basically immediately as soon as you hit somebody one time, which can be really good. He's got a lot of feel-good add-ons. I messed around with the 2 charges of the Vine attack. I didn't like it so much. The AoE is very tiny. It's kind of interesting, but it's not something I would recommend as among his best. But really, if you're trying to bring if I had to summarize this entire video, if you want to succeed with Vecna, bring perks that automate your defense and that focus solely on your chase to make your chases even faster, because your chases are going to be your slowdown because of how fast they are. And in terms of add-ons, you're going to be bringing Rabbit Remains and Bloody Roller Skate, or Rabbit Remains and Gutted Super Calm, one combination of the or the other. Now, like I said, there's other good add-ons, but if you're looking to bring the best, that is what I would recommend. Again, subjective take for me. I don't know that this is the case. I've been watching a lot of other Vecna players that are actually doing even better than me, and they have been using these exact add-ons as well. So I don't think this is a hot take or anything like that. I think most people would agree with what I'm currently saying, but you can do whatever you want. So that's just been my take. Overall, Killer's extremely strong. Still definitely countered by holding W and, very coordinated teams, but he's good. He's a very, very strong, mid to high A tier killer. So very, very strong killer. I'm still trying to get him mechanically down a lot more because he's actually kind of hard to play in my opinion. Like, I can do the max range hits easy, with my eyes closed. It's those awkward mid-range hits where you have to aim down a bit and it's really sensitive. I haven't really gotten the vertical aim down yet, so that's going to take a little while to get the muscle memory down. I don't really play Nurse, so I don't have that muscle memory. I'm willing to bet if you played Nurse, you probably have that down already, but for the most part, I think he's really fun. I'm enjoying learning him. I think he's actually kind of perfectly balanced, very, very strong while not feeling overbearing, at least in my opinion. But yeah, if you want to succeed, try what I've just suggested in this video. That's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.